Olivia was a stunning young woman from a wealthy African family. Her beauty was almost unfair. Smooth dark skin, a dazzling smile that could sell toothpaste, a playful magnetic personality that made people feel like they'd known her forever. Men trailed after her like she owned them something. Boys on the street, her father's business partner's son, even the church drummers who suddenly became very consistent at Sunday service. But Olivia, always gracious, turned them down with a smile that somehow made rejection feel like a compliment. Though she was still young, her mother would often remind her, "My daughter, women are like flowers. They bloom, but they also wither oh." "Mommy," she giggled, twirling around dramatically, "I'm waiting for my Prince Charming." She had grown up watching Disney movies and believing in fairy tale love. She didn't want just a relationship. She wanted butterflies, fireworks, and the slow motion kind of romance. After university, Olivia was posted for NYSC, and that was when her story really began. One sunny afternoon, Olivia was strolling back from lunch when she saw a group of guys seated at a corner under a mango tree. Deep in banter, she greeted politely and they all turned with charming smiles. The type men wear when a beautiful girl walks by. And that was when she saw him, Peter, tall with skin that looked like it soaked up sunlight for a living. His jawline could slice bread. And those eyes, good Lord, they weren't just eyes, they were gentle threads. He smiled and Olivia's knee buckled. She walked past, but halfway down the path, her curiosity got the better of her. She turned back for just one last peek. Boom, eye contact. She blushed so hard, she could feel the heat behind her ears and quickened her steps like someone being chased by feelings. Fate wasn't done showing off. Turns out Peter was serving in the same school. They often bump into each other at the school gate or staff room, always exchanging shy waves and stolen glances. Olivia, who normally couldn't be bothered about appearances, suddenly started dressing like there was a beauty pageant happening in the NYSC ground. One day, her prayers were answered. They boarded the same taxi, heading back to their lodge. Olivia slid into the back seat. A few seconds later, Peter joined her. Her heartbeat tripled. Not ideal when you are trying to look calm and collected. "Hi," he said, his voice smooth and calm. "I'm Peter." "Olivia," she replied, grateful she didn't stutter. They talked about camp, their first week at the school, funny stories about their students. Peter was charming, but not in an arrogant way. He was warm, with a smile that made her feel like she'd known him her whole life. And then came the moment. "I would really like to have your number if that's okay with you," he asked, flashing that genuine smile again. Olivia nodded quickly. She almost gave herself a whiplash. Back at the lodge, Olivia was glowing like someone just proposed. "Spill it," one of her roommates Stella yelled the moment Olivia entered. "I don't know what you're talking about," Olivia replied coyly, but the grin on her face gave her away. "You met someone," Noye declared like a judge delivering a verdict. "A guy to be precise." Who is he? Is he tall? Is he dark? Is he collecting NYSC alawi like us? Or is he one of those secret millionaires in disguise?" Olivia giggled. "I have seen him around, but we finally talked today and we exchanged numbers." She sighed dreamily. "I really like him. I don't know. He just feels like the one." "Aww," Stella said dramatically, hugging a pillow. "Love in NYC." Olivia laughed, nodding, but inside she was already floating. The rest of the day went by in a blur. Olivia kept checking her phone like it owned her money. No text, nothing. Dinner came and went, still nothing. Later that night, her phone finally buzzed. She jumped like someone touched her with a live wire. But it was just a message from her brother. She hissed loudly. "Why are you texting me like you are Peter?" she muttered, tossing the phone aside. The next few days were the same. No sign of Peter, no text, no calls. It felt like he had vanished. Olivia, usually full of jokes and energy, was suddenly quiet. Even her roommates noticed. One evening, as Olivia walked to her lodge, "Hey Olivia, I'm really sorry for going silent. My phone got stolen and I had to travel home for an emergency," Peter said as he looked at her. Her heart eased a bit. "Oh no, I hope everything is okay now," she replied, concern in her voice. "Yeah, all good now. Just got a new phone. Please, can I have the number again?" She smiled, almost rolling her eyes. "This boy, better not try that disappearing act again," she muttered, typing in her number again, fingers moving faster than usual. Peter stood there, just staring, not awkwardly, but like he was trying to memorize every detail of Olivia's face. She looked down, blushing so hard. She could feel the heat crawl up her neck. "You look so beautiful," he said softly, his voice slow and sincere. "Throughout my time away, you were all I could think about, Olivia." Her lips parted slightly, but no words came. For the first time in a long time, Olivia, quick-witted, always full of playful resort, was completely speechless. "I'll call you later," he said with a wink, then turned and walked away, with a confidence that made her stomach flutter. After the encounter, things escalated quickly. They chatted endlessly, during lunch breaks, in between classes, and especially after lights out. Those late-night calls were her favorite. They would talk until the cock crowed, laughing at silly jokes, whispering like teenagers hiding from parents. "Peter, I'm going to sleep," Olivia would giggle. "Okay," he replied, only to start another conversation. She would wake up every morning looking like a panda from the lack of sleep, but she didn't care. Love was an energy drink on its own. Sometimes they sneaked out late at night just to see each other, walking hand in hand, sharing snacks, whispering secrets. It felt like an adventure. Eventually, Peter asked her to be his girlfriend. Olivia didn't think twice. She said yes, happily and breathlessly. Their love became the talk of the camp. Romeo and Juliet, everyone called them, but with jollof rice and suya instead of poison. The one-year NYSC program soon came to an end. Olivia was excited, not just about the future, but about introducing Peter to her family. She was confident they would love him. They both returned to Abuja, Olivia's city. As soon as she settled in, she told her family everything. Her elder brother teased her endlessly. "So you finally found your Prince Charming. Tell him I want bride price in dollars." So, a few days later, Olivia brought Peter home. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Phillip, welcomed him warmly. Mr. Phillips even invited Peter into his private study for a chat. They spent nearly an hour talking. When they returned, her father looked impressed. "That young man has sense," he told his wife later that evening. "He will go far." Peter didn't disappoint. Within weeks, he landed a job at a well-known company. The pay was solid, the environment competitive. Peter thrived. But through it all, Olivia remained his peace. On busy days, they would talk over the phone. On weekends, they explored small towns, tried out new restaurants, or just stayed in watching movies. Their love blossomed like hibiscus in rainy season. They often posted couple photos online. People commented, "Relationship goals," and "You both looked perfect together." But there was always one person who kept reacting on their photo with an angry emoji. No name, no profile picture, just anger. At first, Olivia ignored it, but the discomfort began to grow. A few weeks later, Peter introduced Olivia to his family. His parents were kind and welcoming. His youngest sister, Sonia, even hugged Olivia tightly like they have known each other forever. But Sandra, the eldest, was ice. No smiles, no eye contact, just cold glances and tight lips. Olivia noticed everyone did. Sonia, ever the peacekeeper, tried to soften the tension. She cracked jokes and steered the conversation back to friendly territory. But Sandra's silence said more than words could ever. On their way back, Olivia sat in the car, quiet for a while before she finally spoke. Babe, did you notice something strange? Peter glanced at her, confused. Strange? What do you mean? I mean, your sister Sandra. She doesn't like me. Peter chuckled, brushing it off. Come on, my family loves you. I know, but Sandra looked at me like I stole her meat pie. She's just protective, he said gently. I have had my own fair share of heartbreak, and she's probably just cautious. Olivia nodded, though her heart still felt uneasy. I just want to be loved by your whole family. I would never hurt you, Peter. He reached over and took her hand, rubbing the back of it with his thumb. I love you, Olivia. There's no one else for me, just you. While Peter focused on work, Olivia started planning her master's degree. Her father wanted her to study abroad. It was an amazing opportunity, but it also meant 2 years away. She brought it up one quiet evening while they sat on the balcony of Peter's apartment. That's a really great decision, Peter said slowly. But I don't know about the distance. She moved closer to him and took his hands in hers. Baby, it's just 2 years. I will be back. Then we can finally build our life together. The silence between them stretched. Peter stared into the night for a moment, then turned back at her, eyes full of conflict. I'll support you, always, but I'm scared you'll forget about me. Olivia laughed softly. Have you seen yourself? You are a whole snack. I'll be a fool to leave you for someone else. He smiled, his heart easing. I'll miss you. She leaned into him, forehead resting against his. I'll miss you too. But love doesn't fade just because of distance, especially when it's real. And just like that, a new chapter was beginning, one that would test everything they had built. A single tear rolled down Olivia's cheek. Her heart raced as Peter slowly reached into his pocket and dropped to one knee. The entire rooftop felt quiet. I have held onto this ring for 6 months, he began, voice shaking, just enough to be real. Waiting, praying for the perfect time to ask you this question. Olivia's hand trembled. You came into my life like a warm breeze during Harmattan, not to pass but to stay. With you, my future looks clearer than ever. You're beautiful, you're smart, you are annoyingly optimistic, and somehow you always see the good in people. Your touch, it calms the deepest storms in me. Your voice, it's the lullaby I never knew I needed. 1 year won't be enough to sing your praise, Olivia. He looked up at her, smiling that soft signature smile that always made her weak in the knees. So, Olivia, will you do me the honor of being my wife? Tears fell freely now. Yes, she whispered, nodding furiously. Peter slipped the ring into her finger and hugged her tightly, lips locked in a passionate kiss that lingered like a vow. Weeks later, Olivia boarded a plane to Sweden for her master's degree. Peter stood at the terminal gates long after she passed through, eyes fixed on the empty space where she once stood. Despite the time difference, they spoke often, sometimes groggy, sometimes mid-laugh, always with love. But one evening, during a call, Olivia's smile dropped. Peter, who is that? She asked, narrowing her eyes at the sound of a woman laughing in the background. Oh, that's my bestie, Sue. She just got back from studying abroad. Peter laughed at something Sue had said off screen. Olivia's brow furrowed. Bestie? She asked, voice rising slightly. You never told me you had a female bestie. I'm sorry, love. It just never came up, he replied, brushing it off. Don't worry, we are just friends. But the unease clung to Olivia like wet clothes. Sue's voice kept rising, giggling louder than necessary. It was like she wanted to be heard. And Peter, he didn't tell her to tune it down. Annoyed, Olivia ended the call and tossed her phone aside. The next morning, her phone was just as she had left it. No missed calls, no messages from Peter. That had never happened before. Trying not to spiral, she went to the gym, cleaned her apartment, made food and tried to distract herself with a movie. Still no word from him. She finally sent a message. Hello baby, good morning. I was hoping for an explanation about yesterday. Please get back to me so we can talk this through. After hours of silence, she called. He didn't pick. Worried, she called Sonia. Hello, Sister Olivia. Good morning. Sonia, how are you? Olivia asked, trying to sound casual but failing. I'm fine. You sound off. Is everything okay? I was talking to Peter last night, but there was a girl with him named Sue. I have never heard of her before. There was silence on the line before Sonia sighed. Sister Olivia, maybe Peter should be the one to explain. Sonia, please. Olivia cut in. This is girl to girl. Please talk to me. Okay. Peter and Sue were childhood friends, same primary and secondary school. We even lived in the same compound in Port Harcourt. Oh, Olivia said quietly. I once overheard Sue telling Sandra she had a crush on Peter, but Peter never liked her back. Maybe she's over it now. I mean, she's been gone for 5 years. Thanks, Sonia. Let me know if you need anything, Olivia said, then cut the line. That evening, Peter finally called back. Hey, baby, I'm so sorry I didn't call earlier. Sue dragged me out to a club last night. She insisted her first time back in 5 years and all that. His voice sounded groggy. Peter, Olivia said firmly, I'm not comfortable with this. How would you feel if I have a female bestie? Peter chuckled. Let's not fight about this. You already have me as your male bestie, remember? Olivia smiled, despite herself. He always knew how to melt her anger. Over the next few weeks, his communication waned. His excuses were plenty, but deep down, Olivia could feel it. Something wasn't right. One night, Sandra and Sue sat alone. Sandra was sipping wine. I have loved your brother for a long time, Sue said, but he doesn't see me like that. I thought he would change when I got back. Don't worry, Sandra replied, eyes glinting. We will make sure he does. That Olivia, spoilt, rich, and not even that fine. Sue smirked. Let's make it happen. From that day, Sue made it her mission to drive a wedge between Olivia and Peter. Subtle at first, interrupting calls, whispering lies, dragging Peter out constantly. He never noticed, but Olivia did. Then came the night everything changed. Peter went clubbing again, this time with both Sue and Sandra. What he didn't know, Sandra had paid the bartender to spike his drink. Minutes later, his second glass, Peter's head began to spin. His words slurred, visions blurred. He knew something was wrong, but his body wasn't listening. Sue dragged him out like a lifeless puppet and drove him to her apartment. He barely remembered the ride. He woke up hours later, his head pounding. The first thing he saw was Sue, lying beside him half naked. His heart dropped. Don't tell me this is what I think it is, he said, pressing his temples. Sue stared. Oh, you're awake. Peter sat up, shaking. What the hell happened last night? Sue smirked. Don't you remember? Her tone teasing, but her eyes were sharp. Hungry. What's wrong, babe? She said. Peter raised a brow. Babe? Since when do you call me that? It's Peter to you, remember? He looked at her dead in the eye. How did I get here, Sue? She shrugged, smiled faintly. then used her hands to cover her mouth. You were drunk, and I brought you home. It was closer to the club. Peter straightened up on the bed. And then what? You couldn't resist me. You started touching me, and well, you know I have always liked you. Her smile widened, so I couldn't reject you. And we made love. Peter shot off from the bed. What? No, no, this can't be happening. I couldn't have cheated on Olivia, he shouted, panicked. Sue leaned back casually. Relax, no one has to know. I won't tell her. Peter stared at her in disbelief, his heart pounding. It doesn't matter. I love her. I have kept myself for her. He grabbed his shirt from the chair, threw it on, and stormed out of the house, his heart a whirlwind of guilt and rage. Sue sat alone. She had imagined something different, that he would realize his love for her at last. Instead, she felt discarded. Peter never spoke to Sue after that night. Their years of friendship had died in a night of betrayal. Whenever he talked to Olivia, he seemed quieter, disconnected. I'm glad you have time for me now, Olivia teased on one call, unlike before. So, how is your friend, Sue? Peter's mouth went dry. She's fine, he muttered. What's wrong, baby? You are unusually quiet. I just miss you. Tell me about your school. Made any new friends yet? And I hope no man is eyeing what belongs to me, he said, forcing a playful tone. Olivia laughed, her smile reaching through the phone, but Peter couldn't laugh back, not fully. Weeks later, Sue called Peter to meet her. Reluctantly, he went. As soon as he sat, she dropped the bombshell. I'm pregnant. His world froze. What? How is that even possible? You slept with me, she said calmly. You set me up. If your mission was to destroy me, congratulations, you have succeeded. He screamed, his voice echoing in the parking lot. Sue watched him walk away, face pale, fist clenched. She had expected anger, but not the way it made her feel. Guilty, broken, and afraid. Later that week, she confessed to her mother. Their faith forbade abortion. Her father, a respected church elder, was furious. He told her to inform Peter's family. A child outside wedlock, not in their house. Peter's parents were disappointed. We thought it would be Olivia, his mother whispered. Still, his father insisted, you must take responsibility. A quiet traditional marriage followed. No celebration, no joy, just obligation. Sue moved into Peter's house. What she thought would be a dream turned into a silent nightmare. Peter treated her like a stranger. He ignored her greetings, dodged her presence, and left home early. At night, she cried herself to sleep, alone in a room filled with resentment. One afternoon, Olivia got a text from Peter. I'm traveling somewhere with no network connection. I'll call you when I'm back. Even Sonia stopped calling. Months passed. When Olivia returned home, eager to surprise Peter, she drove straight to his house. What she saw broke her. A pregnant woman stood in the living room. Peter, walking out of the room, stopped in his tracks, eyes wide with shock and regret. Please, he said, rushing after her as she staggered back. Tell me this is a joke, Olivia whispered. Peter's silence answered her. Please, let me explain. She allowed herself to be guided into his car. They sat in silence before he spoke. His voice trembled. I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to lose you. But you lied to me, Peter. For months. I didn't know how. Every day I wanted to tell you, but I couldn't bear breaking your heart. I love you so much, Olivia. I can't imagine my life without you. He cupped her face gently and kissed her, and for a moment they melted into each other, pain, longing, and love, tears colliding. Then she pulled back. You're married now. Go back to your pregnant wife. She needs you. Peter's voice cracked. But what about what I need? I need you. Marry me, Olivia, in court, in church. Traditionally, You will be the only wife I recognize." Olivia wiped her tears, got out of the car and left without a word. As soon as Peter went back into the house, he heard Sue on the call. He froze when he heard the name, Sandra. "You pushed me into this mess," Sue cried. "If you hadn't spiked Peter's drink, maybe none of this would have happened. His true love is back, and now he will leave me." Peter burst through the door. "So it was all planned?" "You spiked my drink," he bellowed. "I hate you, Sue. I hate you for trapping me into this life I never wanted." He stormed out, racing to his parents' house. "Sandra," he said quietly as he approached her, "you planned this? What wrong have I ever done to you?" "She's not good for you," Sandra muttered. "Too pompous. She's too prideful. You don't even know her," Peter shouted. Their parents stepped out. "What's going on?" Peter's mother joined as Sandra's voice trembled through the truth. The parents were beyond disappointed. "We thought Peter had sinned," her mother said. "Turns out our daughter was the evil in the story." Peter left, checked into a hotel, took a leave from work to find a solution to his problem. He then went to Olivia's house a few days later, desperate, but her parents stood firm. "Our daughter will never be your second wife." Olivia refused to see him. Deep down, she was tempted. She still loved him so much. Maybe they could elope. Maybe. But before she could decide, she flew to Canada to live with her aunt. Peter found out 2 days later. He packed a small bag that night, took some valuables, left Abuja without a word. No one knew where he went. Sue was left alone, pregnant, unloved, and surrounded by the ruins of her ambition. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share, and I would like to hear your thoughts about the story in the comment section. See you in our next one. Bye.